Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Of course, wherever podcasts can be found. And we tape it live at the twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Oh, boy. What a week in wrestling it has been, culminating.
You got that right.
In something that maybe we figured would eventually happen. Didn't realize it would happen this soon, Larson. No. Vince McMahon is stepping down as CEO, chairman of WWE,
yes,
while the investigation into his misconduct allegations continue.
Yeah. So, of course, Wednesday, Wall Street Journal had a report that the WWE board was investigating Vince over misconduct allegations, and then it was announced today via WWE's corporate website that Vince has, quote, voluntarily stepped back from his roles as CEO and chairman while the investigation continues, but he will, quote, retain his role and responsibilities related to WWE's creative content during this period. Vince issued a statement which read, quote, I have pledged my complete cooperation to the investigation by the special committee, and I'll do everything possible to support the investigation. I have also pledged to accept the findings and outcome of the investigation, whatever they are. Stephanie McMahon, who had just recently announced that she was taking a leave of absence from the company, has been appointed interim CEO and chairwoman. Stephanie commented on the move, saying, quote, I love this company and am committed to working with the independent directors to strengthen our culture and our company. It is extremely important to me that we have a safe and collaborative workplace. I have committed to doing everything in my power to help the special committee complete its work, including marshaling the cooperation of the entire company to assist in the completion of the investigation and to implement its findings. So WWE also announced that Vince will appear on tonight's episode of SmackDown, with CNBC reporting that Vince will, quote, address the controversy, but do so in character as his traditionally ruthless Mr. McMahon role, according to a person familiar with the matter who declined to be named. CNBC also states that, quote, WWE writers were working Friday to change the script for SmackDown, which had been completed earlier this week, the person added.
Okay, so there's a lot to unload here.
Yeah.
First up, let's talk about him stepping back as CEO during these investigations. Now, we have no idea how long these investigations will actually take. I would imagine the more NDAs there are, the longer it will take.
Yes.
Because I will bet you this one single dollar, Larson, that there's going to be a ton more NDAs to be unearthed during these investigations.
I would expect so.
Him stepping down voluntarily right now indicates to me that he is a person who, as always, wants to control his own narrative, so to speak. This is a move that avoids him being forced to step down.
Yes.
Once all this other mountain, no doubt, of evidence comes out that will certainly see the end of his role. What is kind of surprising to me about this is that he's seemingly, with this move, accepting that as a possibility, as opposed to what you would think of a person in his...
Well, as his history would indicate, too, which would be...
He's going to fight tooth and nail.
You think Wolf of Wall Street, I'm not fucking leaving, you know? You would imagine Vince would be his posture, right. His attitude.
Yeah.
You know, because history has kind of shown us that's the case to a degree. I know also when the steroid trial was happening, he had plans in place for, it was Jerry Jarrett was supposed to, assume his roles in the company should he go to jail.
Yeah.
So I guess in that sense, there's been plans in place to keep the company going should he be unable to fulfill his duties for whatever reason. But yeah, when the report first broke, probably the last thing either of us expected was, he'll step aside.
He'll go away quietly. Now, the reality of this, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more because there was a great Fightful Select write-up on this morning where Sean got reactions from a lot of people. We're going to talk about that in a second. But even before reading that, the bit that stuck out to me as the most obvious sign of, this kind of doesn't matter in terms of short-term WWE and what we can expect as fans is he's not stepping down from creative. It's going to be business as usual. As somebody had noted in this Fightful Select article, just to dive into that briefly, with Stephanie as opposed to Nick Khan in the role as interim CEO, that accomplishes a couple things. Number one, as one of his anonymous sources here said, an employee at WWE, says, he's going to want Stephanie to do something. Is she not going to do it? From behind the scenes? Nick Khan, you would think, would have the independence to say, I'm not going to do that, Vince. That's inappropriate. Number one, for you to suggest that. Well, his own daughter, what is she going to say? No, Dad? Maybe she would. She would. But seemingly people who are inside and common sense would tell you there's a much greater possibility that he can still kind of do things the way he wants to do them. But as has also been noted in this report, his day-to-day running of the company has largely been shuffled off to other people, such as Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, we've seen that Nick Khan has assumed a lot of duties since they brought him on. That's for sure.
So I doubt anything in the short term is going to change with this. Let's pivot now before we get into the backstage reaction stuff from Fightful Select. Let's talk about him appearing on SmackDown. And on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being this is a great idea, and 10 being what is he even doing right now?
Infinity. I mean, this is a
Infinity
terrible
is
idea.
A good, yeah, that's probably
Infinity. Yes, Infinity. It's a terrible idea. I mean, it's doubly so if he's going to come out there not as Vince McMahon, but as Mr. McMahon. He does the strut down the ring and everything. Here's the thing, though. It's like his theme song alone gets a response, regardless to a degree what's going on in the world outside of WWE. If No Chance in Hell comes on, people stand up and people react to it. It's gonna happen, And you mentioned before we got started here, this for him, this is to satiate his own ego.
Yeah,
where he can go out there and he can talk to the crowd, and hopefully they don't involve this in some sort of storyline. Because that would be really tacky.
Yeah, it'd be a terrible idea.
Really tasteless. It'd be a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a terrible idea for him to be on TV, period.
So, yeah, that's what I was saying in the pre-show was this. Look, there's one other individual that, many parallels have been drawn to. No, I'm not talking about Logan Roy. He's fictional. A real life person, Donald Trump. And there are many parallels between the two. They're friends. We know that. Whenever during his presidency, Donald Trump would get hit with some sort of scandal or something. I mean, I know it was like a day-to-day thing with him for 4 years, but whenever anything was particularly egregious, what would he do? He would schedule a rally to basically, as you said in the pre-show, sort of feed his narrative of things. And then, but I always felt mainly it was so he could soak in adulation. He's feeling down. What do you want to do? Let's gather a bunch of people who love me. And that's what Vince is expecting tonight. Now it would be awesome.
He's expecting the reaction his theme gets every time prior. You hear No Chance is what you got. People stand up and they're like, oh shit, Vince is here. That's the reaction that we've seen countless times in years past. Now, will the same reaction happen tonight? I don't know.
I have no idea. I mean, look, I understand, the basics of the Pavlovian response, and hey, we're here to have a good time. It's WWE. People recognize a historical moment. And some of this could be, hey, I'm stepping back. There's a good chance this investigation is not going to go my way. This might be the last time they see me. And in his own head, he's going to justify it with, well, it's going to get good ratings. I always do what's best for business. And that can be debated. It probably will get really good ratings comparable to what they've been doing lately. That being said, is it best for business? Probably not, because you don't want a guy who's scandal plagued to be showing up on TV. It's just making it worse.
Yeah, it is, and depending on what he says, especially, it could make it a lot worse. Let's get to this Fightful Select report because it's the Fightful Select report is long. We're not going to get into all of it. There's a lot there, and so if you're a member of Fightful Select, definitely check it out. So Fightful Select states they can't confirm that Vince's appearance on SmackDown tonight will be in character, but report that there are several people in various departments who will, quote, communicate to higher-ups and possibly Vince McMahon himself that appearing on screen in character isn't a good idea. One talent told Fightful they fear that Vince appearing on television is a, quote, cheap ratings ploy in the middle of something serious. Another talent told Fightful that they are worried that Vince will try to turn this into a, quote, Vince McMahon versus the world type narrative.
That is, yeah. So there's a lot. There's, like you said, it's very extensive. If you're a member of Fightful Select, it's definitely worth checking out. It was sort of a must read here. There's a lot there. A lot of it sort of validates some common sense stuff that as an outsider you kind of would figure. For example, well, one thing that was kind of interesting about that is that most of the people who Sean talked to really like Stephanie. She's well liked. Yeah. And so
she seems very well liked.
They like the idea of her being in charge, which is interesting. But some of it is what you would think, that Vince is going to come out there and say, just like, oh, I beat the federal government with the steroid stuff. Oh, I'm going to beat the WWE board of directors or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
He's going to try to be a bit tongue in cheek about it, which is probably inappropriate and probably a bad idea.
Yeah, terrible idea.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. This is a bad idea.
It's a horrible idea. What'd I say? Not infamy?
It's infinity bad idea. Yeah.
It's a terrible idea. Yeah, I mean, if the whole idea is him stepping down to kind of get out of the spotlight a little bit, then don't go on network television and get yourself back in the spotlight. You know,
he is big, especially lately in WWE creative. He has been big about allowing the characters of WWE that have aged out of on-screen roles be allowed one last goodbye. You know, he had an amazing WrestleMania moment this year with Austin. And obviously at Survivor Series a couple of years ago, Undertaker said his final goodbye. And this might be Vince thinking, hey, the Mr. McMahon character was a staple, for better or worse, sometimes both, on WWE programming over the last, decades. He needs to have his time to say, hey, goodbye. So there's no ambiguity about it. This is done. We're done. Given that he stepped down, again, like we said, sort of on his own terms today, this investor, he has to know that the writing's on the wall here. And maybe putting Stephanie in as interim is his way of saying, hey, I'm going to be gone. But if you're in as CEO, at least a McMahon's going to be here to help shepherd a sale or whatever the situation is. What do you make of, let's talk about that for a brief moment. Now, longer term here. I know it's not really in the notes, but I wanted to get your thoughts on it anyways, because you and I haven't really talked about it. So Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio was talking about potential suitors, potential people or companies that could buy WWE. And obviously the top one on the list is NBC Universal. They have a decades-long relationship. Meltzer had said, given what WWE could probably get for so right now the market cap is at $5 billion. Usually companies, if they're going to sell, they'll go above that. They'll sell above that. But his speculation was NBC Universal could probably recoup that within the span of less than a decade, which in the long run is not that long amount of time.
No, it's not.
What Disney recouped their Star Wars money like within 2 movies or something. It was quick. Given how rights fees are escalating, Brandon Thurston has said that he feels the rights fees are going to be 1.5 times what they got before at this point, because digital rights fees are going up. Okay. And so given all that info, Meltzer also said that it was possible that Tony Khan, that the Khan family could put together an ownership group. And my question to you is, how batshit crazy would that be?
That would be wild. Wild. 21 years after Vince bought WCW?
Got to get to my hands.
That'd be crazy.
What stars of WWE would you like to see here at AEW?
Especially if what Brandon Thurston had to say is correct, where rights fees could go up about 50%. So instead of paying $1 billion for Raw, they'd be paying $1.5 billion over the span of 5 years. Well, I mean, it is a ton of money, but if you have long-term plans to keep WWE content on your network, and you can buy the company outright for $5 or $6 billion, get SmackDown along with that, it seems like a reasonable investment.
Sorry, DLW here in chat said, tonight on Dynamite, Tony Khan has a gigantic announcement.
Yeah, I know. Which Tony Schiavone makes,
Yeah, exactly. He has a little clipboard that says WWE ownership lease or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I would be absolutely flabbergasted if the Khan family purchased WWE, but I don't know. If Vince sees that his time running the company is over and thinks, well, might as well sell now.
Yeah.
It will just simply be to the highest bidder. I don't know.
Yeah.
He has those relationships with NBC Universal. Obviously, he's got this kind of this newer relationship with Fox. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they'd be interested in.
Wasn't Fox the suitor wasn't Fox the company that WWE was trying to sell to? And they were I
think so. That's what
Freddie Prinze Jr. had said.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, that's too pricey for us here at Fox.
Yeah. So
NBC Universal is massive. I mean,
it is. It's a huge company.
It would seem that would be the obvious home for WWE. Evidently, from everything we've heard, WWE on Peacock has been an absolute success.
Yep.
And streaming wars is where it's at right now. Mm-hmm. And if they could lock up WWE, that would probably be a wise investment on their part.
It would be, if nothing else, to keep Peacock like a relevant streaming platform.
Which leads to yet another question. One that was posed over at the WrestleJuice questions board. What would what would WWE look like? WCW. What would WWE look like if it was then run by a conglomerate like NBC Universal in terms of its creative structure? Wouldn't it end up being a bit more like WCW, where you've got like some high up executives and then they just sort of hire people inside the business to run things creatively?
I would think that had the sale happened with Vince still firmly in charge of WWE, I don't know if a whole lot would have changed.
It'd probably be like a Dana White situation where Dana White stayed with UFC.
Yeah, even though they have, was it CAA brought them or whoever it was. Because Vince McMahon is synonymous with professional wrestling. Mm-hmm. Yeah, WWE is synonymous with professional wrestling. And so to have WWE around without Vince McMahon, at least in charge of creative, at least he'd have to be still kind of the public face of the company.
Well, he's still listed in like the shareholder stuff as critical to the company because he leads creative. Yeah,
exactly. So if not only is he, has to, resign fully as CEO and chairman, and because of that is relieved of his creative duties, then your guess is as good as mine. Will it be a process where NBC Universal buys the company? It's like, okay, well, we have people in place here who have done the creative, understand the creative WB, and know the product as it's presented now. And if that's what they want to continue, then you'd have to think that Bruce Pritchard would probably stay around.
Yeah,
to some degree.
You know who would be? Think I'm cute. I'm a writer. I got the looks to drive WWE
every match
creative.
Set up by some random interaction backstage.
Well, dude, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
It's not.
Because here's the thing. I suspect if they sell and Vince is out, there might be a transitionary period, but there might be just like they did with Lucas. We get your shit, but you're out. Like, we're going to steer it from here, and we want to steer it our way. Yeah. The McMahons entirely might be out, including Triple H, who I don't even know if he could run creative because of his heart issues right now.
I don't know either. Yeah.
In which case, they might turn to like, okay, well, who else do we have? Well, Shawn Michaels has taken NXT. Like, why not put Shawn Michaels in control?
That'd be pretty wild in the span of, 5 years? He went
nuts.
from just hanging out with his family in San Antonio to being the creative head of WWE.
Could you imagine the Heartbreak Kid? I mean, dude, he kind of knows what he's doing. Like, NXT is not terrible.
I mean, NXT UK is weekly a really good show.
NXT UK is pretty damn good. Yeah. We're going to talk more about NXT. We're going to talk about Impact with Slammiversary on the horizon. We've got a bunch more news to talk about, too. Before that, let's go ahead and pay some bills, Larson. What do you say?
Sure. Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp Online Therapy. You know, Steve, life can be overwhelming at times. It is easy to feel burned out without realizing it. And while burnout is often associated with work, any of life's roles could lead to burnout.
That's absolutely true, Larson. So if you're feeling fatigued, irritable, or unmotivated, you could be dealing with burnout. And BetterHelp wants to remind you to prioritize yourself. Talking to someone can help you find out what's causing the stress in your life.
Yeah, I've been there before. I've felt that fatigue, that lack of motivation, that irritability that comes with burnout. And I've gone through the process of trying to find a therapist, so I know how difficult it can be to find the right person to talk to. But BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to.
It's also much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. And right now, Going In Raw listeners can get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/raw. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, First Person. Hey, Steve. You know, I think a lot of us wouldn't mind turning back the clock. For some, it might be for vanity. For others, to relive their glory days. But for me, I just wanted to wake up in the morning and feel rested and energized for the day like I did when I was younger. And now, thanks to First Person, I'm getting some of the best sleep I've had in years and waking up feeling focused and energized.
Yeah, man. You know, after witnessing the deteriorating effects Alzheimer's had on their father and grandfather's cognitive health, brothers Chris and Joe were determined to take their brain health into their own hands. So they created First Person, which uses the brain-boosting medicinal benefits of mushrooms to activate the full potential of human cognition and brain health.
You know me, Steve. I've struggled with getting good sleep for years, but ever since I've been taking First Person's Moonlight supplement, I've been getting some amazing sleep. I've also taken their Sunbeam supplement, which has helped with my focus. With First Person, I finally feel like I'm unlocking Larson's full potential.
Nice. First Person supplements are made with functional mushrooms that look to stimulate the body's natural production of specific neurotransmitters that trigger activities like energy, mood, and as you just mentioned, sleep.
So start improving your brain health and cognition with First Person. Get 15% off your first order by going to getfirstperson.com and use code RAW. That's GETFIRSTPERSON.com, code RAW for 15% off your first order. Getfirstperson.com, code RAW.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. All right, let's move on from... I mean, it's sort of an update, non-update on the release.
Well, I mean, it's like there was those two huge stories on Wednesday. It was the investigation into Vince, and while we were doing our AEW/NXT recap, this bit of news came along too.
Yeah. So Sasha Banks was so WWE has not yet confirmed Raj Giri's report that Sasha Banks has been released by the company. Andrew Zarian reported on the latest Mat Men podcast that, quote, I cannot confirm she's been released, but I did hear late last week that her attorneys were working on getting this done. Andrew Zarian typically has a pretty good track record when it comes to talking to higher ups in WWE, their sort of office. And so when he says something like this, I tend to believe it. It seems like a matter of when, not necessarily if.
Yes.
In which case, Sasha Banks, who knows, this time next week, this time next month, could be a free agent outside of WWE. Who knows? I mean, if she has her attorneys working on it, who knows what that means in terms of a no-compete clause.
You'd think if it's a release, it would be 90-day no-compete.
You would think so, but what if that 90 days was less than the amount of time left on her contract?
That's a fair point.
I have no idea. Don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, back when her and Naomi walked out, what was the talk that they had a couple months left on their deals?
Yeah, that was the idea. Yeah.
So yeah, that's entirely possible. If she's got less than 90 days left on her contract, then could be.
Yeah. Then you'd think, why would she be going through the hassle of paying her lawyers to do all this anyways? But I don't know. Time will tell. We'll figure it out. That's something to keep an eye on. Where do you think she would do? What's your gut tell you? You think she would go Hollywood? You think she'd go to AEW, take that title off Jade Cargill?
Well, there's no reason she couldn't do both those things.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I mean, she's an immensely talented woman. It seems like she has opportunities all over the place. And I would imagine that she would pursue any and all opportunities that are of interest to her, whether they're in the world of wrestling or not.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know where she's going to show up for sure? This Monday, Steve W. Insider says,
wow,
we might get a Sasha Banks appearance.
Is it NWO Sasha Banks, Bullet Club Sasha Banks, or Sasha Banks?
You got to stay tuned to find out, man. This Monday night, twitch.tv/MFSteve here. Myself, the Enforcer, brings you the very first episode of Steve W. season, whatever this is, 3, I guess. I don't know.
3? I think it's 3.
I think it's 3, yeah.
I think it's 3. So, well, as more Sasha news comes, we'll of course talk about it. Let's talk about this. So, Randall Keith Orton, he's been out of action with an injury since he and Riddle lost the Usos in a tag team title unification bout back on May 20th. Now, they've said on TV he's had a back injury, but we really haven't heard a whole lot about what the exact nature of the injury is beyond what they say on television. So Fightful Select offered us some details on the nature of that injury, and according to Fightful, Orton has been dealing with a back injury for a while, and that injury has gotten, quote, progressively worse. And WWE fears that Orton will have to have surgery, which would keep him out of action for the remainder of 2022.
Oof.
Yeah, so he's been doing some of the absolute best work of his career with Riddle, with RK Bro. You can tell he's going out there and having an absolute blast. Yeah. He's having some, he says it, and you can believe it, that he's never had more fun.
Yeah, and largely thanks to
you see the smile on his
Riddle,
face every week.
Yeah, no, it's an absolute shame. It's not terribly shocking given that he has had a relatively consistent schedule. I mean, there's sort of the Brock schedule, which is you're just around every once in a while. There's Randy Orton's schedule where he gets some time off, but more often than not, he's a part of their programming.
So let me ask you about this. I remember kind of vaguely an interview he did where he was talking about the impact of all the RKOs he's done and how that has irritated his back. I kind of remember that. I'll look into that while you keep on going.
I don't remember that specifically, but it wouldn't be shocking. I mean,
he said something like, "What? It was not a great idea for me to jump as high as I can to deliver my finisher on my back," or something like that. Here, I'll try to find it.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, even if he didn't say, that's sort of common sense. That man, that's got to suck over the span of 20 plus years now, or about around 20 years now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
There it is. From January 20th.
There you go. All right. Yeah. He's been doing this for a very long time, and you can take all the precautions you can possible. You can get a bus, you can, do all that stuff. But the bottom line is this guy, sometimes multiple times a night, has been, jumping, like he said, as high as he can, landing on his back. This is what he said. This is from what's this, Republic World? It's an interview he did. Says, I just lost it. I jump as high as I can, grab the guy's neck, and come crashing down the mat. I've been doing it for a very long time. I kind of wish I could go back in time and create a finishing move that didn't entail me jumping as high as I can and landing on my back. After doing that a couple thousand times over the last few decades, I'm starting to feel it. Oh, this is Fox 2 now. This is Republic World, who has the transcripts here. Fox 2 now was the interview. So I didn't imagine it. Well, that's good.
Sometimes I don't know, man. My memory is so garbage.
Going crazy, man.
I'm like, this actually happened, or am I misremembering something?
Yeah, that happens to me all the time, man. So yeah, look, man, the same thing applies to Randy. We say about everybody. We want them to be happy and healthy. And if that means Randy never steps foot in the ring again, and that's great. If we get him back in 2023 and he's happy and healthy, awesome. He seems, like you said, be having a great time, and we want him to keep being happy. So yeah, our best goes out to Randy Orton. I wonder what that's going to mean for SummerSlam, given that he was sort of penciled in as the guy for SummerSlam.
Yeah, this could be interesting to see how that all changes plans going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you got Drew coming up in the UK in September, and before that, I mean, look, I don't know, they can pump up any number of people, but yeah, that'll be interesting.
That will be interesting. Let's talk Slammiversary. We got that going on Sunday on Father's Day. We'll be doing a watch along, and of course, we'll be doing our official predictions.
Well, yeah,
for Big Red. But before we get into our Impact recap, Steve, let's do some preliminary Slammiversary predictions, because Enforcer's not here. These don't count. These
don't
official.
Mean anything, but it's fun to do.
It is. They are fun to do.
Yeah, man. Let's start
9
off
matches
with the Digital Media Championship, the most prestigious championship. Prestigious in all of professional wrestling in the world. Rich Swann versus Brian Myers. So technically, I think in the record books right now, Rich Swann is still Digital Media Champion, but because he beat Cardona for it at like a Pro Wrestling Revolver show, but Cardona stole the physical title and then in a Zoom call handed it over, which, all this stuff is happening in digital media. The Wrestling Revolver show, I think, was a YouTube clip. The Zoom call was using Zoom technology. He hands it over to Brian Myers, a man who knows digital media because he's got a podcast with Matt Cardona. And they're like, Rich Swann, you don't even have a Twitter account. You can't be digital media champion, but we're going to put this to the real test at Slammiversary, which is just going to be a wrestling match.
Yeah.
But it's going to be happening on digital media.
Exactly. The kickoff show on YouTube. So yes, it's still, Rich Swann's winning this. He's the actual champion. He's going to win this. I got 7 confidence points on Rich Swann winning this.
Wow. I have 3 confidence points on Rich Swann because Cardona's still out there. He's probably not even going to be there because he's injured. But Chelsea Green will be in attendance. Maybe she'll help out. I don't know. Of course, also Brian Myers. This guy
is the most professional wrestler. He is the most professional wrestler.
And he's a very good digital media guy. And so you think he's got the advantage when it comes to the Digital Media Championship.
See, but the Digital Media Championship isn't decided by anything having to do with digital media.
Rich Swann tries some awesome top rope 450 thing, and Brian Myers is like, bang, Twitter follows.
Look at this. Engagement.
Yeah, engagement. Analytics. I got Rich Swann with 3 because I don't like losing things in the kickoff show and its impact.
Yeah, but Rich Swann's winning this. Then we got the reverse battle royal. They explained the rules during Impact last night. I think I understand. Don't know anybody who's in it except Johnny Swinger, Zicky maybe, and there's a couple other people said they're going to be. Shera. And then the other dude. Raj Singh, right? Raj Singh, they're in it. You got to figure the other Impact players who are not involved in Slammiversary are going to be in this as well. Maybe some Bullet Club guys who aren't going to have a match. Like Chris Bay have a Slammer? Is he going to be? He's not going to be in the Ultimate X match? Oh, what a bummer. He should be. I know. That's weird. I know. He's amazing. Yeah. So, I don't know. He's in this. I have 1 confidence point here, and I jokingly put it down on Swing Daddy, because why not? I don't know who's going to win this. If Macklin's in the field, I'll probably pick Steve Macklin 1 confidence point. That's a good pick. I'll probably do that, too. Hey, that's my idea. Yeah, I know. I'm stealing it now. Ha! Then we've got The Influence versus Rosemary and Taya. I've got The Influence winning here with 4. Because Rosemary and Ty are totally going to feud. This is not. They're not going to be new champions. They're going to feud as because they used to be cool, but now not so much. Now not so much. Exactly. Yeah, I got Influence with 4. Everything you said is correct. Yeah, they're all. We should team together. Well, that's going to fall apart. After that, we have Ultimate X with Ace Austin, Taco Bell guy, Jack Evans. Jack Evans is in this. Trey Miguel, the speedball guy, yeah. The 6? Oh, I think that was 5, but I could have been counting wrong. And 1 more person is in this. Doesn't matter. That person's not going to win. Ace Austin. Yeah, Ace Austin. He just joined Bullet Club. He's not losing this. 6 confidence points, unless Ace Austin is actually going to, unless he goes to New Japan
like actually goes to New Japan, then I'd see Speedball picking this up. But it's going to be Trey Miguel. He's the champion.
I mentioned
no,
Trey
Ace
Miguel.
Austin is okay. You did
Ace Austin. I mentioned Trey.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I got Ace Austin with 6 here.
I got Ace with 3. When you got like 6 people in a match, I have a hard time putting too many confidence points on it. So I got Ace Austin with 3.
Oh man, you know why I put 6 on it? Because he is inevitable. Isn't that what he calls himself?
I think so.
Something like that.
Let's talk about more Bullet Club members, the Good Brothers. They're taking on the Briscoes for those tag titles. Good Brothers already have a win over the Briscoes at multiverse of matches. For that reason and several others, I don't see them beating the Briscoes here. I think Good Brothers contracts are coming up during the summer too.
Oh, they're totally going to New Japan, yeah.
I got Briscoes 8 confidence points.
Briscoes with 7 confidence points for everything you said. The question is, are we going to get either Papa Briscoe or chickens in this match?
Why either or? Why not all?
Yeah, dude. All of it. Absolutely.
All of it. Then we got a Monsters Ball match, Sami Callihan versus Moose. I mean, Moose broke Sami Callihan's ankle.
Yeah, right.
The stipulation seems to favor Sami Callihan. Everything seems to indicate Sami's going to win. I got Sami with 5.
Sami with 5 as well. Just what are they going to do in that room together for 24 hours before the match?
They're in different rooms, man.
What? I thought they were in the same room together.
No.
Proceeding
It's
this
purpose
match.
having the match, but they're in the same room for 24 hours. Why don't they just fight in the room then?
Yeah, that's the point. And then the match
it's not the
starts
point.
and they're all beat up because they fought
The point
themselves.
is they got to stay awake for 24 hours in separate rooms, no food, no water and stuff, and then they fight. That's the
Whoa,
point.
back up. What? They have no food or water for 24 hours?
I think so. Isn't that the stipulation?
Fuck, I don't know. Clearly, I don't know.
I didn't know I was this much of an Impact insider.
Oh, dude, you're the ultimate insider. Next up, we got Queen of the Mountain.
Yes.
So I've got 2 confidence points on this match, and it's either going to be Tasha Steelz or Mia Yim. I don't know what it's going to be. I feel like if Tasha's got to lose this, it's got to be in a one-on-one matchup.
Hold on. I got to interject here. So I was right. Well, it says here the contenders were sequestered alone in a locked room without light, food, or water for 24 hours before the match.
You think that's a shoot?
No. No, they're in the locker room going to their match like 10 minutes before it starts, man.
Oh man, you gotta learn the key rule to improv, man, is you always say yes. It's what is it? Yes, but something like that. Anyways, who you got in this match? Because I think Tasha Steelz probably should lose this in a one-on-one match. And I think they really like Tasha Steelz, and I think she's a terrific champion. The last 2 King of the Mountain matches have featured competitors who retained their titles.
Oh, interesting.
In this case, I think it sort of depends on card placement where this ends up going.
Exactly.
It's either going to be her or Mia Yim. And then Mia Yim would end up winning the rematch for that one-on-one encounter if Mia Yim wins here. But it's going to be one or the other. Tasha Steelz ended up getting the win here and the go-home episode.
Yeah.
Which brings my thoughts on her a little bit down, but they could pull a swerve where she wins there and she wins at Queen of the Mountain.
Yeah, a lot of people who we picked to win at Slammiversary won the go-home math on the go-home show.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
For me, it's either Mia Yim or Jordan Grace winning.
Oh, really? Jordan Grace? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like she's been kind of the focus of a lot of storylines, for a number of months. And maybe the kind of the bit last night where she accidentally clotheslines Mia. I mean, she took the L last night. She took the pin. Mm-hmm. Is to set up something maybe after between Mia and Jordan Grace. It depends on placement of the show and whatnot. But I'm thinking either Mia or Jordan Grace right now.
This is great. Flat 3 here in chat says, "Who wants to watch 2 malnourished guys have a plunder brawl?" We got man dying of Jesus. We have actual men dying of thirst.
Yes. Yeah.
The first thing they do when they get out is look for a drinking fountain.
I know. That's what they do. We got the Impact Originals.
We were at that science museum the other day, and we're waiting in line for the Globe Theater. And one of his little kids said, "Mom, can I go get some water?" And she's like, "Yeah." She went over there and put her whole mouth on the fountain. I was like,
my goodness.
God, what are you doing? Oh, man, kids are hilarious. All right, this one, Impact Originals versus, I don't know, more Impact 8.
Well, the Impact Originals did get the stand tall math. We saw an Aces and Eights reunion.
Yeah.
Nick Aldis, member of Team Impact, in this match. There's still one open spot.
Whoa, Nick Aldis?
Yeah, they announced after Honor No More beat Aces and Eights, and the post-match angle, and they started doing the cards for the match cards for Slammiversary. The first one was that one, and they made the announcement there that Nick Aldis was.
I fast forward through all that shit. I fast forward through so much of Impact.
Really?
Oh yeah, I get the info, man. I get the info. I watch the matches that are special, like any Speedball match, any Trey Miguel match. So I watch that stuff. Any of the matches, but like, what was that Briscoe's match that went down last night?
That's what I'm talking about. It's against Vincent and Kenny King.
Yeah, Honor No More matches. Yeah, I don't watch those no more.
So anyways, some Impact Originals stood tall to end that, but still, yeah, I got Team Impact 6 confidence points.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, our main event, Josh Alexander versus Eric Young.
Josh Alexander 9th. He got driven on exposed wood by Eric Young and got busted open. He told
I don't care about those people. I don't. Whoa, my voice. I'm not able to do my Eric Young. I don't care about those people.
Nigel McGuinness's voice was going out during some of the reads he had to do on NXT UK.
Oh no, I didn't. Oh my gosh. I don't care about those people.
Man, you're missing a lot of interesting details. Fast forwarding through all these shows, Steve.
Yeah, I suppose I am, but I'm saving a whole lot of time. Tell you what, you're the details guy, man. I do the bad impressions of people. Anyways, let's talk about Impact Wrestling, the go home to Slammiversary. We talked about a lot of this stuff, but we're going to talk about the nitty gritty now.
More.
Kicked off with Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans versus Jordan Grace and Mia Yim. Of course, Savannah Evans, she's not in Queen of the Mountain, but she might factor into Queen of the Mountain.
Entirely possible. I mean, the whole idea, and there was a segment after this about how participants in the match are kind of teaming up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like it seems like Chelsea Green and Deanna Prazo has like a loose alliance. Same with Jordan and Mia Yim. Of course, Tasha and Savannah Evans, they have an alliance. One thing we didn't talk about in our predictions is that Mickie James is the special enforcer for this match.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned before, she's got beef with a lot of people in this.
She does, yeah.
Which could favor either Jordan Grace or Mia Yim getting that win.
Yeah, it could, but she could also do the whole, hey, Tasha, you took the title from me, I respect you kind of thing. There could be some begrudging respect there. She helps her. I'm sorry, this made me laugh. Nick Isle says, does Sammy and Moose need to drink urine to survive? That sounds like such a Sammy Callahan thing. He comes out so refreshed. He's like, I've been thumbs up, thumbs down. I've been drinking my own piss.
I've been drinking my own urine. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up.
And Moose is like, Sammy, you're disgusting. Oh, I'm thirsty. Where's the drinking fountain? Then he puts his whole mouth on it.
Oh my goodness. So Jordan Grace accidentally hits Mia Yim with the clothesline here, and then I have Evans rolls her up for the win. Is that who it was, or is it Tasha?
Oh, who knows? But I feel like Tasha. I don't know, man. I mean, that might take Mia Yim and Jordan Grace like mid-match out of the match. Like if she's got beef with Mia Yim, they might be focusing on each other too much to win Queen of the Mountain.
Possible. This is the storytelling that we like about Impact.
Oh yeah, dude. We don't know. After that, Chelsea Green and Deanna Prazo were in the deep dark recesses of behind the scenes there at Impact Wrestling.
Oh, sorry, it was Tasha Steelz. I don't know why I wrote Savannah Evans. It was Tasha Steelz that rolled up Jordan Grace for the win.
And they're watching this match, and they're interviewed. And Deanna says, you know what? There's no teams in Queen of the Mountain. Chelsea says, Deanna, with other people, with other women forming alliances, it'd be ridiculous if we didn't work together. And then they're asked if what happens if they're the final two. And Deanna says, well, Gia, or whoever the interviewer's name is, there can only be one Queen of the Mountain. And she walks away, and Chelsea says, she ain't lying.
Then we got Garrett Bischoff. Thank you. And Wes Briscoe, former members of Aces and Eights, and they got the motorcycle vests on and all that. They got an interview because they're bringing in names from Impact's past to celebrate their 20 years. And they're talking about, the Aces and Eights and how cool they thought they were in it and stuff like that. And Honor No More steps in. And Vincent says, hey, we're in charge of Impact now. D'Lo comes in because he works for Impact.
Yeah.
He's there trying to break it all up.
Yeah.
And then Bischoff and Briscoe give him a bunch of crap about going corporate because they want a match against Honor No More. And D'Lo says, the thing is about being corporate. I can go talk to Scott D'Amore about that right now.
Yeah. You like Vincent's little Easter egg there when he says, "You're looking at the real deal now," and then it being D'Lo. See, I noticed some details. After that, we had a Josh Alexander, Eric Young video package, followed by Trey Miguel versus Mike Bailey. These guys are incapable of putting on a bad match.
Yeah.
They're so good,
this is really good. This is really
so
good. Speedball is going for that corner to corner like spinning kick deal he does.
Yeah.
Trey catches it, rolls him up to get the win.
Yeah. Man, it's only
so
a matter
Trey Miguel's
of time.
not winning Ultimate X.
No, it's only a matter of time for Speedball, though. He'd be my secondary pick here.
Yeah.
After that, we had a Sami Callihan Moose men dying of thirst video package. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I drink my own pee.
Yeah.
Then we had Masha Slamovich versus poor Alicia Edwards. She looked like she was like, "Who booked me in this match? I don't want to be here."
She was taking that loss as soon as she stepped in that ring. She knew she was gonna get beat.
Just beat. The only question is how bad.
I know.
How many more days is she going to be in pain after facing off with Masha Slamovich?
Oh, Masha dominated snowplow win.
Bang, done. Yeah.
Yep. Then we got Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie backstage. Taya's very excited that they're teaming up again and going after those tag titles. And she says, I know we have history. And Rosemary says, yeah, you have a history. Be it selfish.
Ooh.
And then Taya, undeterred, still positive, says we could take out the influence and do it together, and then we could save Havoc. She's very excited about this team up, and Rosemary maybe less so.
Yeah. After that, we had Jay White and Chris Bay versus the Briscoes.
Another fun match.
Yeah, this is a fun match. The Bullet Club and Impact just doesn't work for me, though. It really doesn't. There's such a thing. Like, their presentation is so perfect for New Japan. That's why I never want to see Jay White leave New Japan. I don't know. He's just so perfect there, but he comes to Impact and it's like, he's good and everything.
Yeah, I mean, he's there to fulfill his obligations. That's what it kind of seems like.
Yeah, I feel like he's just so much more on when he's. Even in AEW, I thought he was very much New Japan Jay White.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
maybe he's not allowed to cuss in Impact. Maybe that's part of it.
Well, it could be. That could be. Mark gets the roll-up win on Chris. Maybe he doesn't like those long tapings. I got to sit here all day.
I mean, that would tire anybody out, I would think.
I know, exactly. Mark gets the win here, rolling up Chris Bay for the win. So, yeah, like you said, man, the Briscoes stand tall over Bullet Club here. Mm-hmm. Do we know, have the Briscoes actually signed a deal with Impact? Do we know?
Don't know that.
Okay. After that, we had Raj Singh and Shera backstage with a promo. Singh busts out some Steiner math, talking about, of course, the inverse of Battle Royal. He says everyone in the match has a 0% chance to win because Shera's in the match. He's a lion. And then Swing Daddy and Zicky Dye step in. Swinger says, "Hey, Daddy, I'm going to win." And Zicky's like, Swinger got eliminated quick from the gauntlet for the gold. And Swinger says, "Nobody finishes faster than I do, Daddy," which is sexual innuendo.
Yeah, but then Raj Singh and Cher is like, you don't understand the rules. It's not about being in the match the least amount of time. Still got to be in the match till the final two.
He was going to try to explain the rules, and it honestly seemed like it was too much of a task for him. So he was like, you'll figure it out when you get there.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny because I was like, was that a shoot? Because I can't even explain the rules.
I don't know. I can't think of a succinct way to explain the rules.
Right. I know. After that, we had Briscoe and Bischoff firing each other up. D'Lo walks in, and they're about to go out to their match, and D'Lo's in full aces and eights gear, and he says, the thing about aces and eights is that you never walk alone. Mm-hmm, and then we had Kenny King and Vincent versus Wes Briscoe and Garrett Bischoff.
Yep. Vincent gets the pin on Briscoe after Orange Sunshine, pretty much sliced bread. Afterwards, D'Lo gets in the ring. Honor No More surrounds him. He starts to take him out. He hits Kenny King with Sky High. He's going up top. And then Matt Taven, Mike Bennett run down the ring. So they all start beating up D'Lo. Eddie Edwards is setting up for Shining Wizard. Motor City Machine Guns Kazarian hit the ring to make the save. They take out Honor No More, and then right after that is announced Nick Aldis, member of Team Impact.
That's cool, man. Is he's still doing stuff with NWA?
I believe so.
Probably, yeah. Then we had the Josh Alexander, Eric Young contract signing. So Eric Young, dressed nice, dressed to the nines. He had a nice suit on. Josh Alexander, just super Impact mark. Just everything. He's
Head to toe Impact.
Just not wearing his own merch. He is Impact. Had an Impact tank top, Impact track jacket. Lots of Impact there.
A lot of Impact. He is Mr. Impact. So Scott D'Amore has a pretty long introduction to this, saying not only has he considered both these people, Eric Young, Josh Alexander, his friends. At one point, he considers family. He talks about history of Impact, and EY just comes as, I don't care about history. I don't care about Slammiversary being a celebration. I only care about one thing. Myself. Being world champion into the future.
I want to be future man.
And he's like, you, Josh Alexander, you sign contract first.
Yeah, that was weird. He was like, all right, here's the contract. He signs it first. I don't care about these people. Anyways, yeah. So Josh says, as world champ, I'm going to walk into Slammiversary with the entire company's history on my back and the entire company at my back. He names some Impact legends. He says, I should be able to name Eric Young. He says, you started your career in Canada. He says, I started my career in Canada. All I heard about was Showtime Eric Young. He says, that same Eric Young came to Impact and had the whole crowd chanting, don't fire Eric. He says, the same one everyone loved and got behind. He says, the real honest truth is that Eric Young that I grew to love and inspired me would be disgusted to see what you've become now. And then Eric Young flips over the table, punches Josh. And then D'Amore tries to break it up, and then Diener steps up to him. Scott punches Diener. And then Eric Young breaks the flagpole over Scott D'Amore's back. Woo. You're not my family. You're just some guy in a suit. And then Violent by Design beat down Alexander. He starts bleeding. And then Confused Cowboy starts taking the ring down because he thinks the show's over. And part of his daily duties is...
he volunteers every night as a member of Ring Crew.
It's a good example, to set for the youngins.
Really
no matter how much of a vet you are, no matter how much of an All-Japan legend you are.
Former Triple Crown champ can still help break down the ring after the match, yeah.
Exactly. So Eric Young takes a turnbuckle hook to Alexander's head. Diener and Eric Young peel back the canvas and the ring padding, so it's just a bunch of numbered floorboards. And he gives him a fucking pile driver on it.
Yeah, man, he jumped into that one, too.
There was some stank on that number 13 floorboard.
yeah, I like how they had all the planks numbered.
Where do these go? Very specifically,
look at the numbers.
You learned.
But you notice this, though. Rather than starting from left to right with one on the left and then 30, it was the opposite.
Yeah.
I wonder why that is.
Yep.
Who knows? Let's talk NXT UK. The turn we all saw coming happened. Trent Seven tried his best to trick us into thinking it was a retirement deal. No, I do better. I'm sure you did too. Mustache Mountain is officially no more. Not because Trent Seven retired, because he low blowed Tyler Bate, gave him a Birmingham hammer. These two guys are going to feud, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Heel Trent Seven should be great.
Should be amazing. Even the crowd, when they were parting ways, they did the hug and they crowded. You hear one British dude, "Don't do it, Trent! Yo, don't do it, Trent! Come on, don't do it!" He had offered no suggestion that he was going to. Oh, I know better. And then he just got a whole sort of elbow pit just worth of balls and taint right there.
Yeah, it was a full forearm.
I know this is probably going to be an amazing feud. It's going to be great. It's probably going to last months. It's going to have one huge, awesome, culminating match. They'll probably do a couple matches though in the meantime. Trent will cheat to win, prove his point. Mm-hmm. How great would it be though if this was a new clean slate for Trent, and he was then able to advance up the ranks as heel Trent Seven and eventually maybe even dethrone Ilya. Don't think it's going to happen. How amazing
that'd be great,
would that be?
Trent Seven is incredible.
He is incredible. He is terrific. I'd love to see just a grizzly, old, leathery, bad guy Trent Seven with all those great promos, which are probably going to be even better now that he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Climb up the ladder again. Maybe even just for the Heritage Rules thing. I don't know. But it'd be great to see that as opposed to him have this, a feud with
Tyler Bate.
What do we call him? Del Boy and
Bert.
Bert.
Yeah, ultimately take the L and just settle back into
I don't
want to see.
I want to see him continue to go. I think this could be really cool for him, man.
Yeah, I hope so. So, show kicked off with Tiger Turin versus Josh Morrell. This match was cut short. Tiger Turin hits a crossbody off the top rope, gets a 2, and in the process hitting that move, it looked like Josh Morrell banged his head on the mat pretty good.
Yeah.
Could not get up. Ref threw up the X. He tried to kind of roll over to the ropes to kind of brace himself up, couldn't do that, so they called off the match. The training staff comes and checks on Josh Morrell.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. After that, we had a Blair Davenport video package. Seems like she might be ready to come back from her ankle injury, so that's awesome.
Seems that way.
She needs a cup of coffee in NXT UK and then straight up to 2.0. She should already be wrestling in sort of the upper leagues at this point.
Yep.
After that, we had Myla Grace versus Lash Legend. Probably, unless Lash Legend's going to have a Mako match while she's in UK and take a loss
her last match there.
But otherwise, it seems like they're starting to cycle the first group out, so on and so forth. But yeah, Lash gets the win here with a pump kick. After that, amazing news. Saray is going to do a spell in NXT UK. Cannot freaking wait, because I get the feeling they're going to let her do that drop kick the way it should be done, just kicking people's heads off.
Yep. And then she mentioned Mako during this promo. I
can't wait. That's going to be a fucking match, man.
You got that right. And then also Briggs, Jensen, and Fallon Henley are going to NXT UK as well. They're challenging Carter and Smith for those tag titles.
Man, I love it. I really like Briggs and Jensen, and now they got Fallon Henley with them. I really like that team. They are the most like 1995 over-the-top gimmick team. They're these promos are ridiculous, but they are so charming.
They are charming, and it seems like they're actually having fun.
I know. It's
together.
You could see that. You could totally see that. It's really clicking with them. Yeah, I love everything about these guys. I think they're terrific.
Yeah, same. Then we got Noam Dar and Shaw Samuels against Wolfgang and Damon Kemp. This was a fun match, and it was good to see Damon Kemp get that win over Shaw Samuels here.
Dude, I love Damon Kemp. I think he's terrific. You and I obviously huge fans of Gallus, and especially Wolfgang. So to see him do the Gallus pose along with Wolfgang was awesome. I think, dude, I really like this idea of cycling in 2.0.
Yeah, I like it a lot too.
People, I think it's really terrific. You get all these, we're both big fans of UK, and there's aspects of NXT 2.0 that we both appreciate. So it's really nice to see that, and it gets some good experience.
That's all true. I feel like the parts about NXT 2.0 we probably enjoy the most is the stuff they've brought over from NXT UK in terms of focusing on character.
Yeah.
I know in 2.0 the characters tend to be a bit more over the top than they are in UK.
Yeah, right.
And having characters motivate matches. And we joke about in UK where people bump into each other backstage and it sets up a match, and it does happen all the time. But it's just because they have well-defined, strong, genuine characters that can cross paths and have a beef over something.
Yeah.
And it works.
They don't need a convoluted story because their characters are so three-dimensional. They're so, they've got so much depth to them. Absolutely.
And a lot of them have a lot of history together.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, and they can build off that. Yeah, absolutely. So this is this is probably Damon Kemp's longest match by far so far. This is a long match. And it was a really, really good one. Kemp was in this match a long time. He was isolated for a long stretch of time. Wolfgang comes in. He gets the hot tag here. But in the end, Wolfgang tags back in Kemp. He goes on a run against Shaw Samuels. Dar tries to help. He gets pulled into the ring. The ref gets distracted. Shaw gouges Kemp in the eyes, but then Wolfgang trips up Shaw with his own scarf, the same way that they did in the previous match. And then Kemp hints Shaw with a running power slam to get the win here. Shaw Samuels runs back into the ring after the match, eats one of those awesome spears from Wolfgang. It's like a spear Uranagi combo. It's so great.
It's great. It's great. Then we got Trent Seven. He came to the ring and dropped a promo. He says, I believed I was honest with myself and all the fans when I said I didn't know what I was going to do if we lost the tag titles. It doesn't feel the same as it used to. Losing the titles have compounded that, and I think it's wise to be honest with myself. I've made a decision, but as you can see, there's someone missing from this conversation. So Tyler Bate, please come to the ring. So Tyler does. And Trent says, there's no way I could have done all this without you. I feel blessed to be given the chance to do what I do. And I think of all the opportunities we've had traveling around the world. But there's no place like being here at home, being in this ring. It reminds me when they beat Pretty Deadly to win the tag titles. Of course, when they sold out Royal Albert Hall and won the NXT tag titles. He says those moments are so special. They're going to be such fond memories for me for the rest of my life. So from the very top of Mustache Mountain to the bottom of my heart, thank you, Tyler. Thank you to the NXT UK universe for being a part of this ride. He's actually getting emotional.
Oh, he's emotional. Yeah, he's choking up. Yeah.
Yeah, so then they hug. And then they kind of separate, and Trent leans against the ropes. And you think it's going to happen then.
And you think, and you hear somebody's, don't do it, Trent.
Yeah. And he goes back to Tyler, and he hugs him again. And there's no mic, but he tells him, he says, I love you so much.
Yeah.
And then he hits him with the low blow.
Oh, yeah. And then the best part is he picks up the mic, and in the most gravelly, gnarly voice he could muster, and kind of like a half whisper, he says, I never needed you.
Yeah, but before he did that, he grabbed Tyler by his mustache and pulled on it. Yeah. It was great. And he slaps him, Birmingham.
And then the most important part, he takes his white towel and he drapes it over Tyler, and he puts his foot on him. Oh, that was good. And then he walks out, and the camera follows him, and people are just giving him shit.
Yeah.
And one guy leans right into Trent, and he goes like this. Mm-hmm. Trent does. Oh man, yeah. This was really good stuff. I wish it was in front of a massive crowd that really would have been laying into him, because there were some devastated people. There was that girl they caught, and she was like devastated over this.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a really good bit here. Let's go ahead and answer some questions. I put up a thread over on our YouTube channel. Every Friday we do a thread here. We got a bunch of questions, so we're going to run through a bunch of these. White Brownie says, with more 2.0 talent making their way to UK, give us 3 matchups you would love to see. The Dyad versus not Mustache Mountain. The Dyad versus Gallus. And Gallus like, you familiar.
I think we know who you are.
Sussing out who you are. Yeah.
Nikal here asks, who should beat Ilya for the UK title? Trent
7. Villain Trent. Oh, that'd be so God damn it.
It'd be amazing.
God damn it, let's do it. Let's see here. Arsenal Sergeant says, if you could start a new era for the Undisputed Era from the current NXT UK roster, who would you pick to be in the faction?
So a new Undisputed Era?
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough because what made the Undisputed Era was 4 guys who had a wealth of history together.
Yeah.
And we're all really good friends.
Yeah, right.
And just based on how 2.0 is made up now, like, I don't know if those ingredients are there for something like that,
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just like 4 really good wrestlers teaming up. It was 4 really good wrestlers who had a lot of history and talked about that history. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I would do this just because there's I can see some similarities. If you want like a power group, Braun Breaker, the Creeds, and Damon Kemp.
That'd be good.
I mean, it'd take a while to sort of get them all on the same page and for it to make sense as a group, because like you said, those guys all have history. So you need to spend some time with that.
You need to put the building blocks together of that story before you go through with it.
Yeah.
Leslie Hayes asks, what are they going to do about Laurinaitis? So in all of the news today, really no mention of Laurinaitis, but yes, I would fully expect for him to be fired or be forced to resign.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, we have a lot of questions about that stuff. We're not going to answer them all because we've addressed a lot of it already. Ignacio asked, do you think if Stephanie ends up taking over, do you think she brings back Shane? I would say probably not.
Yeah, I would be pretty surprised. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Luis says, what do you think this might mean for TV deals when they have to renew the contracts? You would think if they want to get that 1.5 times what they have now, they need to get their ship in perfect order. That means all this stuff has to go bye-bye. But if that means Vince going bye-bye, does that mean that the deals would be less because he is synonymous with pro wrestling? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if broadcast partners, even prospective buyers, would associate Vince so much with a WWE product that, you know, the price to either get the television rights or buy the company outright would be lower if he weren't there. I don't know.
I don't know. What it would probably be, Nick Khan now has been around for a while. He's been around for a couple of years. I would think that maybe the relationships he's fostered with NBC Universal and Fox, maybe they trust him enough to be like, hey, we can seamlessly transition creative out of Vince's hands and not miss a beat. Mm-hmm. I would think that's his role.
If it would be partially that, but partially just because Vince is so synonymous, you know, even with like with the, and I don't know the answer to this, would broadcast partners or people looking to buy think the value Vince brings as the face of wrestling outweigh all these allegations? You would hope not. You'd think the allegations are damning enough. They'd be like, we want nothing to do with this guy.
You would think that he would be. I mean, look, I would think it'd be this. If it comes down that Vince is out, Nick Khan would finagle away. He would say, okay, I need to now sell why Vince being gone is a good thing. Yeah. Why we won't miss a beat. Why him being face. He's not really on TV all that much anymore. Which I don't know, might be a reason why Vince is doing this for SmackDown tonight, to lessen the chance that he would be kicked out, because he could say, I'm a draw. But I think that's probably small.
It's more just probably to satiate his own ego as opposed to anything else. I mean, I who knows? I don't know how this is all going to play out. Thought just crossed my mind.
Yeah, no, I think, you know, it's I think it's appropriate to speculate on all that stuff. There are certain things that is sort of silly to think about, like, oh, who leaked it, you know, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Here we go. Burning Waffle says, who should be in Christian's Judgment Day? We sort of talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy should be like, hey, Christian, I'm with you now. I see the error of my ways, and I see that you're right. Bang, concerto to Christian, Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
You'd say the AEW Judgment Day.
Say, Christian, you're right. I am a piece of shit. Remember when you told my mom?
Concerto.
Yeah. Let's see here. Benjamin Wilson, how long should WWE wait to add a long-lost brother to the Ezekiel Elias storyline? They should have done it already. Should be Elijah, or what did Kevin Owens say?
Giuseppe.
Giuseppe. What a great name. Let's see here. Yeah, a lot of these we sort of already.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually a good question about on-screen creative. Supratik Baxi says, how will this affect Theory's career? You got to figure, creatively speaking, he's not going to say he's the chosen one anymore by Vince McMahon. They're going to have to do a slight pivot where he's still that character, but he's not going to be referring to that. They're going
to probably go away from I'm Vince's protege to look how good I am. And they're already doing this, but just double down on it. Look how good I am. I'm already the youngest U.S. champion.
Just it would how great not. They could have him say, I'm WWE's chosen one, without referencing Vince directly. But he's not going to reference Vince anymore.
No.
That's not going to happen.
I'm guessing once Vince comes out on SmackDown tonight and says whatever he's going to say, no more Vince on TV, no more mention of Vince on TV.
I think you're right about that.
Until the investigation concludes.
Yeah, yeah. But, man, I don't know. Anyways, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back on Sunday here at the Twitch for our Impact Slammiversary. Oh, tomorrow. This is huge. We forgot to mention this. This is huge. Action Coast Wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Joe DeSole has challenged Alexis Derevko, Magnum AD. Well, yeah, but Joe was shooting. He was talking about his name, Alexis Derevko. He's challenged him to a match where if Joe DeSole wins, he gets complete control of Action Coast Wrestling. And if Magnum wins, he can book Joe into whatever shit match he wants. He said handicap match against 20 guys, Inferno match, whatever.
Yeah.
Huge stakes on the line at Action Coast Wrestling. Larson and I are going to be there with Mr. Dope. Hilton's in Hawaii. You can't make it. So come by. It's Sacramento, sort of in the NorCal area. Come by Action Coast Wrestling and find them on Eventbrite. You can get the tickets now.
Right now. Now.
Come by and say hi, because this is big news.
Massive.
Big news. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate it. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonator Phil McDonald, here to tell you to go support Going In Raw and Friendo Club at patreon.com/Steven Larson. They got bonus episodes, ad-free audio, a weekly newsletter rounding up the weekend wrestling news, and a bunch more. Patreon.com/Steven Larson. Go support or get hit with a stunner.